So for this video discussion, we are going to talk about random variable. But first, let's go back to probability. So ang experiment is an activity which can be done repeatedly under similar conditions. Some examples are tossing a coin, drawing a card, and rolling a die. Another one is sample space, which is the set of all possible outcomes in an experiment, such as like tossing a coin na may sample space na head or tail. Sa rolling a die naman, may 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. At sa drawing a card, ay 52 possible outcome. Na sa tossing a coin, na may possible outcomes na head or tail, you can also represent them quantitatively or by using numbers. Sabihin natin na kapag ang outcome is head, ang equivalent niya ay 0. Kapag ang outcome naman ay tail, ang equivalent naman niya is 1. Now for an example, tossing 2 fair coins, meron tayong sample space na dalawang tails, head tail, tail head, and dalawang heads. So kung ang concern natin is number of heads, ang first outcome natin will have a value of 0 kasi wala siyang head. Next one is 1 kasi isa lang ang head. Ganun din sa pangatlo. At sa panghuli, ang magiging value natin is 2 kasi dalawang head. Now, uppercase X is equal to quantity 0, 1, 2. And this uppercase X is called random variable. Now, random variable is a set whose elements are the numbers assigned to the outcomes of an experiment. So, kung kanina, ang ginamit natin is X. So, it is usually defined by uppercase letters such as X, whose elements are denoted by lowercase letters x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, and so on. So kung ang ginamit natin na variable ay uppercase y, syempre ang elements niya will be denoted by lowercase letters y sub 1, y sub 2, y sub 3, and so on. So for example, tossing a fair coin 3 times and we are concerned on number of tails. So we can also write it using table. So sa first column natin, nandito yung sample space. And sa second column natin, nandito naman yung number of tails. So sa first outcome natin na tatlong heads, ang equivalent niyan sa number of tails, syempre 0. The next one is 1, and so on. Pagdating dito sa panglimang outcome, dalawa na ang equivalent niya kasi dalawa na yung tails niya hanggang sa dito. Pagdating sa last outcome, tatlong tails, so ang equivalent niya is 3. Ngayon, kung makita natin ang values na nandito sa number of tails, tatlong kinds of values. This is 0, 1, 2, saka 3. Kaya ang elements ng random variable y natin is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now, this is different from variables in algebra. For example, x plus 4 is equal to 7. Kapag sinimplify natin, makakuha natin na ang value ng x is equal to 3. So, different din siya dito sa function na ito, na ang y is the dependent variable and the x is the independent variable. Ang value ng y ay nakadepende sa value ng x variable. Okay, there are two types of random variable. Merong discrete random variable at may continuous random variable. Sa discrete, it usually arises from counts. While sa continuous, ito yung measurements such as height, weight, temperature. So dito sa discrete, gumagamit tayo ng whole numbers lang. Unlike sa continuous, pwede tayong gumamit ng real numbers. Sa discrete, finite siya, ibig sabihin may hangganan lang. Pero usually lang siya. May mga discrete random variable na infinite din, pero as long as kaya natin bilangin or we can use whole numbers, that random variable is also discrete. Dito sa continuous, dahil measurement siya at gumagamit siya ng real numbers, infinite siya. So example natin sa discrete, number of heads in tossing 2 fair coins, Kasi ang possible values lang dyan, 0, 1, and 2. Ito naman sa number of children in a family, hindi naman pwede mag-infinite yung number of children. Pwedeng mag-100, pwedeng umabot ng ganun, pero as long as kaya natin na i-represent using whole numbers, it is still discrete random variable. Dito sa Monday attendance at a classroom, so normally sa Philippines, 40 to 60 students sa classroom, pero depende na rin sa school. Next is number of even numbers involving 3 dice. So, pwede lang dyan tatlong even numbers kasi tatlong dice. Ang minimum niya syempre 0. Next is number of ants in the Philippines. So dito sa number of ants in the Philippines, para siyang infinite, pero as long as kaya natin siyang ma-count, which is also using whole numbers, discrete random variable pa rin siya. So for continuous random variable, we have examples like weight of an animal in a zoo, height of a student in a school, amount of rainfall in a town in Camarines Norte, exact temperature of a patient in a hospital, at saka mass of a planet in the universe. So mga example na ito, kitang-kita naman na measurement siya. So usually, this is continuous random variable. So ang measurement, pwede rin siya maging discrete random variable. So halimbawa, gagawin natin weight of an animal in a zoo. And we're going to round off to the nearest ones ng mga weight nila. So yung mga weight ng animal in a zoo, mara-round off natin sa nearest ones. Magiging silang whole number. That way, we can classify them as discrete random variable. Pero as long as hindi natin sinasabi na ira-round off natin yung mga measurement na yan, this is continuous random variable. So we have discrete probability distribution. For example, we have number of heads in tossing 2 fair coins. So ito yung sample space natin, and this is the random variable. So, ito rin yung nakuha natin kanina. So meron tayong table dito. So first row, ito yung lowercase x. So kapag lowercase, ibig sabihin dito yung elements. And this p of x, this is the probability of the values. So ilagay muna natin yung elements dito. So 0, 1, 2. Ngayon kukunin natin yung probability ng bawat value ng ating random variable. So dito sa 0, kung babalikan natin yung sample space natin, sa apat na yan, isang beses lang pwede mag-0 yung head kasi dito lang siya pwede mag-0. Unlike dito sa tatlo, merong head. May isang head, may dalawang head. So 1 out of 4, that is the probability of 0. So magiging siyang 1/4. Ito man sa 1, itong dalawang ito lang yung may isang head. Pareho silang may tig-isang head. Out of 4. So ang probability niya is equal to 2/4 or 1/2. So ito namang 2, isa lang din siya. So 1/4 din siya. Now, discrete probability distribution is a table showing all the possible values of a discrete random variable together with their corresponding probabilities. So, makita natin dito sa table na ginawa natin, dito sa first row, nandito nakalagay yung all possible values of discrete random variable. Ito yung 0, 1, and 2. Katapat naman nila, dito yung corresponding probabilities. So, ang probability ng 0 is 1/4, ang probability ng 1 is 1/2, ang probability naman ng 2 is 1/4. Okay, let's have another example, which is rolling a fair die. So, we have the sample space and the random variable or the elements of the random variable. So, gagamitin natin yung uppercase X. So, bakit parehas lang? Kasi rolling a fair die lang siya. Hindi tayo nag-specify kung ano yung hinahanap lang natin. So kapag sinabi natin rolling a fair die lang, ito yung sample space niya at ito rin yung random variable niya. Tapos, if we're going to write it in the discrete probability distribution, ilalagay lang natin dito yung element ng random variable x, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So hanapin lang natin yung probability. Dito sa 1, kung makita natin sa sample space natin, isang beses lang siya nagkaroon ng 1. Isang beses lang. So, 1 out of 6 or 1/6. Itong 2, ganun din. 1/6. Itong 3, 1 over 6. Itong 4, 1 over 6. Ganoon din yung 5 and 6. Now, we have the properties of discrete probability distribution. Ang first property niya is each of the probabilities or P of X has a value which range from 0 to 1. For example, itong given na probability distribution, kung makita natin yung probabilities niya ay nasa range lang from 0 to 1. So, walang values na nag-negative at walang values na naghigit sa 1. Lahat sila less than 1. Pwede mag-equal to 1, pero hindi pwedeng maglampas sa 1. So, for example, ito, 1 and 1/4. Ito yung mga values na hindi pwede. 2, hindi rin siya pwede kasi mataas siya sa 1. Ito rin, 1.25. At itong negative 1/2 kasi negative. The second property is the sum of the probabilities P of X sub 1 plus P of X sub 2 plus P of X sub 3 up to P of X sub n is equal to summation of P of X is equal to 1. So, ibig sabihin yan, lahat ng probabilities or ang sum ng probabilities dun sa discrete probability distribution must be equal to 1. Otherwise, hindi siya makaklasify as probability distribution. For example, this one, kapag pinag-add natin yung lahat ng probabilities, so 1/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 is equal to 1. Kaya makaklasify natin siya as probability distribution, specifically discrete. So let's have an example for that. So meron tayong given a number of hours an employee travels from house to office. So ito yung nag-gather natin na data. Ito yung number of hours. Pwedeng 0 kasi ilang minutes lang nandun na siya sa working place niya or dun sa office niya. Pwedeng 1, 2, and 3. Under that is their probabilities. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/4, and 1/12. So under the first property ng discrete probability distribution, makita natin na ang probability natin ay hindi naman nag-negative at hindi rin naghigit sa 1. So, pasok siya sa first property. So, dun sa second property naman, kailangan natin na ipag-add sila or kunin natin yung sum at dapat mag-equal to 1. So, gagawin natin 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 1/12. Kailangan siya mag-equal to 1. So, these are dissimilar fractions. Para ma-add natin, kailangan natin ng LCD. Ang LCD dyan is 12. So, itong 1/3 magiging 4/12, ganun din ito. At itong 1/4 magiging 3/12. So, i-add lang natin numerators. 4 plus 4 equals 8 plus 3 is equal to 11 plus 1 is equal to 12 all over 12. So, this is also equal to 1. So, nasatisfy niyo yung second property. Ibig sabihin, isa siyang discrete probability distribution. Our next example is number of subjects of a grade 11 student. So, meron tayong given na data. Ito yung elements ng ating discrete random variable 7, 8, 9, 10. Tapos ito yung corresponding probabilities niya 0.08, 0.83, 0.07, saka 0.12. So sa first property niya, pasok siya kasi wala naman yung negative at walang greater than 1. So yung second property lang natin i-verify. So 0.08 plus 0.83 plus 0.07 plus 0.12, kapag pinag-add natin sila o kinuha natin yung sum, this will be equal to 1.1. So, lampas siya sa 1. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya probability distribution. Na-violate niya yung second property. So, this is not a discrete probability distribution.